Good morning, students. Today we'll move into civics lesson to central government. India as a country with a democratic form of government, that is, we are electing our leaders and they are ruling the country and providing security and welfare schemes for the people. That is the democratic form of government, simply people's government. The country is under the control of central government. So, in this lesson, we learn about the structure of central government. The central government is the supreme government in our country. The headquarters of the central government is at New Delhi. Article 52 to 78 in Part 5 of Indian Constitution deals with the Union Executive. That is, Article 52 to 78 deals with the formation of our government. The central government consists of three organs, namely Union Executive, Legislature and Judiciary. Union Executive, Legislature and Judiciary. Now look into this flow chart, that is the structure of central government. First one, Executive. Under Executive we have President of India, Vice President of India, Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. And under Legislature we have Parliament. Parliament consists of two houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Under Rajya Sabha, under indirect election, we are electing nearly 238 elected by the state assemblies and 12 were nominated by the president for Rajya Sabha. Under Lok Sabha, through direct election, we are electing 543 members and 2 were nominated by the president. Judiciary, it consists of Supreme Court of India, Chief Justice of India and other judges. That is the structure of our central government. Under that, first we'll move into the executive wing, the President of India. President is the nominal executive authority of the country. He is designated as the first citizen of India. That is, he is the executive authority. So we are considering him as a leader for whole country. So he was called as the first citizen of India. He is the supreme commander of the armed forces. The president is also the constitutional head of the Union Executive. According to Article 53 of the Constitution provides all executive powers of the President. Article 53. The President of India resides at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. He resided Rashtrapati Bhavan, but that is his residence as well as his office are at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Whether you know who was the first President of India? Dr. Rajendra Prasad. The present President of India, Mr. Ramnath Kovind. Okay, that is about the President of India. Now we'll move into what are the qualifications for the election of President. How we are electing on the basis of which qualification. First one, under qualification, he should be a citizen of India. First should be a citizen of India and must have completed the age of 35 years. And he must not hold any office of profit. That is, he should not work anywhere under the state government or under the central government or any other local government. He should not work anywhere. He should have the other qualification required to become a member of Lok Sabha. So he was suitable to be a member for Lok Sabha. And his or her name should be proposed at least 10 electors and seconded by another 10 electors of the electoral college. That is, his name must be proposed from the electoral college. The president is elected by an electoral college in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. That is, they have the single transferable vote. Everyone have the single right to elect our president. The Electoral College consists of the elected members of both the House of Parliament, that is, the elected members of the state and elected members of National Capital Territory of Delhi and Pondicherry, that is, from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and including our National Capital Territory of Delhi and Union Territory of Pondicherry also. In that way, that is, the Electoral College will elect the President of India. After the election is over, the term of office for a president is 5 years and certain powers are allotted to our president. Now we'll move into the powers of the president. First one, executive powers. Under the executive powers, Article 77 requires that every executive action of the Union shall be taken in the name of President. That is, Article 77 deals with the executive powers of the President. President appoints the Prime Minister and other members of Council of Ministers after the election is over. Okay, he appoints Prime Minister and other Council of Ministers, and he is responsible for making a wide variety of appointments. So he'll appoint many people, like he appoints the Governor of State, the Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts. Okay, he appoints, that is, the President want to appoint the governors for each state as well as the Chief Justice for the Supreme Court and other judges for High Court. The Attorney General, that is the highest legal officer for the government, and the Controller and Auditor General, one who check all financial matters of the government, the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioner. Chief Election Commissioner, he will conduct election for the country, then Election Commissioner for each state. The chairman and the members of Union Public Service Commission and ambassadors and high commissioners to other countries. So ambassadors to other countries are also appointed by our president. These are the executive powers of our president. Next one is the legislative powers. The president is an integral part of the Union Parliament. President must inaugurate the first session of Parliament after the election. Same way, the President summons Parliament at least twice in a year. Summons means he want to gather both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha at least twice in a year. All bills passed in the Parliament became laws of acts only after getting assent of the President. Here assent means signature. So with that signature of the President, bills are considered as laws of act under our Parliament. Money bills cannot be introduced in the Parliament without his approval. Money bills. The President nominates 12 persons who are eminent in literature, science, sports, arts and social service to the Rajya Sabha. For example, consider Sachin Tendulkar and Amitabh Bachchan. They are come under the nominated members for our Rajya Sabha. He can also nominate 2 persons belonging to Anglo-Indian community to the Lok Sabha. Anglo-Indian community, that is, during the time of British, some British people, they stayed in India and they mingled their life with Indians, so they come under the Anglo-Indian community. So these are the legislative powers of our president. Now we'll move into the financial powers of our president. Money bill can be introduced in the Parliament only with this prior recommendation. That is, money bill can be introduced in Parliament with the recommendations of our president. What is a money bill? Money bill in general covers issue of receipts and spending of money, borrowing by the government, that is, what are the expenditures incurred by the government, and as well as tax laws and expenditure of the government, and to prevent black money in the economy. That is, making a tax law to prevent black money in the economy. That is a money bill. Money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha with the recommendation of our President. Annual budget of the central government is presented before Lok Sabha by the Union Finance Minister only with the permission of the President. Same budget also presented by Finance Minister with the permission of our President. The Constitution of India places the contingency fund of India is at the disposal of presidents. Contingency, that is emergency fund, that is central government will keep emergency fund in case of any natural disaster occur. The central government will release certain amount towards a particular state to overcome that disaster. That is a contingency fund that is also approved by our president. Same way, the President constitutes a finance commission after every 5 years. So that commission will recommend certain things for the distribution of revenues between center and state government. So these are the financial powers of our President. The next one is judicial power. Article 72 confers on the President power to grant pardons or remission of punishment or to commute the sentence of any person convicted of an offense. That is, the President has the right to reduce the punishment of a person convicted of an offense. So that is the judicial power, as well as the President has no right to answer any court of law. Okay, the President is not answerable to any court of law. These are the judicial powers of our President. Next one, military power. Regarding military power, Article 53(2) lays down the supreme command of the defense force of the Union shall be vested in the President. That is, he is the supreme commander officer for our defense force, and he can exercise, therefore, shall be regulated by the law. Article 53 deals with the military powers of our President. In the exercise of this power, it is the President who can declare war against a country and make peace. So if there is any emergency, he can declare war and make peace in the country. These are the military powers. Then diplomatic powers. The President appoints Indian diplomats to other countries and receives foreign diplomats posted to India. Diplomats means ambassadors, one who connect between two countries. They were appointed by the President. All treaties and agreement with foreign states are entered into in the name of President. So the diplomats, they made agreement with a foreign country and through the concern of our President. These are the diplomatic powers of our President. The next one, emergency power. Under the emergency power, the President has been empowered by the Constitution to proclaim national emergency under Article 352. National emergency, that is, a problem arise within our country. And same way, Article 356 confirms for the state emergency, that is for any particular state, Article 356. Then he can declare financial emergency under Article 360. These are the emergency powers vested with our President. Then last one, removal of the President. That is, you know it, after the election, we are electing the President. The term of office for the President is 5 years. The President may be writing under his hand address to the Vice President, resign his office. Suppose he is not willing to continue his duty, he can resign his post. Same way, The impeachment action can be brought about in the form of resolution in either house of the parliament. That is, the president can be removed from office by impeachment power. Impeachment, that is, the government has the power to remove our president when he commits any mistake. The impeachment power is the highest authority or highest power vested with the people under the democratic form of government. So, when the president makes any mistake, people can implement the impeachment power to remove our president. That is about the removal of president. So far today we talk about all about our president. Now remember, president, that is the union executive of the government, is considered as the first citizen of India, and he was elected by the electoral college, and it consists of the elected members of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And we talk about the powers of president, that is executive powers, legislative powers, financial powers, judicial powers, military powers, diplomatic powers, and emergency powers. And finally, how we want to remove the president. So that's all about the role of president. Thank you.